What is up, SkreamBots? Today, we are going to be looking at a brand new tier list. This will be number five, I think. Speaking of numbers, we just hit 3,000 subscribers. So thank you to all of you that are subscribed, liking my videos, commenting. I super appreciate it. That said, I looked at the analytics and about 70% of you that watch these videos that I upload are not subscribed. So please, if you are not subscribed and these videos do help you and you do enjoy them, aside from giving it a like, which I hope you do, please make sure to subscribe and also turn on notifications so that you know anytime I upload content or go live. Like, a few people have been asking me why you don't see why I go live, and one of the things that I've noticed on YouTube is that if you click the notification button, it actually gives you two options. One is like personalized and one is all. So you're going to want to click on all to make sure that you get notified when I'm streaming and when I upload new videos. For whatever reason, if you don't choose that option, it won't send you a notification, or at least that's the feedback that I've been hearing. All this week, I will be uploading more videos, hopefully to help with the upcoming Grand Guild Tourney, which, as we know, is the PvP competitive-based event that they used to do pretty often, but we haven't had one for a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be uploading a lot more videos this week with team compositions, how to beat certain teams, or also very importantly, how to do PvP matches very quickly and what the best teams are for that. Next weekend, I have a very special stream planned to celebrate me hitting 3,000 subscribers. Why do I keep doing that? We will hopefully be able to do like a really cool giveaway. I'm working with the Dungeon Boss team to see what we can actually do, but aside from that, we'll also be doing like gift cards and possibly maybe some Dungeon Boss merch. Again, that's something that I am still working on, but regardless, it's going to be a pretty cool stream next Saturday. So mark your calendars. It'll probably be a very long one, and I hope to see you all there. But again, make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss it. Moving on to the tier list itself, not really like a whole ton, let's say, has changed, but I do think there has been enough since the last one of these that I made that it's important that we revisit it. As always, I do recommend looking at past tier list videos. Usually, like, I would go back maybe 2 of them, so in this case number 4 and number 3, so that way you can see what things have been shifting, and you can also like get more insight in case I don't go into depth on one of these heroes. Odds are I probably went into depth in the last one, and that's why I'm not going in depth on this one here. Also, I'm just not going to really spend a lot of time explaining, especially with the lower rank heroes, just for the sake of time and so that we can make this a little bit shorter than 45 minutes to an hour that this could take. Now, let's get right into it. Abigail has not changed much. I'm going to put her in D. I mean, the Barbarians, they got their Drac epic, but it didn't really help much, so they're still pretty much here. So I'm just gonna put her in D for now. Real F. Agnon is absolutely an S tier now with his epic, which is free, by the way. Definitely go get it. And if you're at the point where you're still developing your roster and you need to grind these out still, I would highly recommend spending your resources on his epic. It's extremely good. Alexandros is going to be a solid F or D. Alrakis is absolutely slaughtering right now. Alrakis is in a lot of the best meta teams, so he's going to be an S rank as well. Archon is definitely one of the most meta heroes right now. If there was an S+, all 3 of these guys would be an S+. Arya's still pretty decent. I'd put her in like a B+ or A. I'll put her in B+ for now. She's just not really used that much at higher levels. Lower levels might be different, but if you're talking like level 80 legend PvP, she's not really used very much, and it's just because she just can't really compete well with chaos damage right now, and her boost that she gets from like her other class heroes aren't really helping her that much. Augustus, I would put as an F rank hero. You could argue that he's a D rank. I'll put him in D just for the simple fact that he does have some healing factors and so on, but I'm not really going to get into that too much. Balog, same idea. Bauble is just slightly better than these heroes here. I'd put her into a C maximum. Black Diamond is definitely going to be a B for me. If there was a B-, I'd probably put her in that, but for now, I'll just put her in the B range. Bobus, unfortunately, our big bull here is definitely going to be an F rank. Braum is definitely going to be no higher than a D or C. I'll throw Braum into C. He's just not good. Honestly, it's hard for me to even put him into C, but I'll put him into C because I do feel like he's better than these heroes. Abigail might be slightly. They might. I don't know. I'll put Abigail in C, even though I mean honestly she's really not good. Bobressa is a C. Craw I'd put in B. Craw has great abilities and great specials and great passives. He's just not. They're just other heroes that do what he does so much better. And obviously with the advent of Foresight runes, his abilities just aren't that important. Cruel King Bramble is okay, but as a hero, he's not very good. He just makes Miko better. He himself is not very good at all. And even with a team with Miko, he's still not that good, if that makes sense. So definitely can't be any higher than a B. Darius, I would put in the same little spot here. Dagrund, unfortunately, is not very good, even on a Dwarven team. We're going to throw him in D. He does have a decent heal. He is pretty tanky. Like, you can keep him alive pretty well. He has a high health pool, and he just, right now in the current meta, there's just not a lot he could do. I'd probably put him in C now that I think about it, because he's definitely better than these heroes here, but not by much. In fact, I'm almost thinking I'm probably going to put these two in D. Some people are gonna get so mad about this, but it's fine. You're allowed to be mad. Deadeye I would put into B+. I really hope that somebody like Deadeye gets an epic soon, because he's just right on the fringe of being super good, but it's just like missing something. He's just like this close to being awesome. So hopefully he gets some love later. Dagon is one of the best heroes in the game, S rank for sure. Drac is going to be a B maximum. Even with his epic, his epic kind of flopped a little bit, but obviously not a lot of testing has been done with it, so we will see if that changes at all once that is more openly accessible to the masses. Echo, unfortunately, is still not really that great. I'd put him into C rank. Ella's okay, so I gave her a not too favorable rank in the last one of these that I did, and it was pointed out to me that some of her abilities are pretty solid on very, very specific teams. Most notably, her charm ability is decent, and can, like, if you charm somebody like an Alrakis or something, you can basically wipe their entire team. That said, with the introduction of Lorelei, getting hit with a charm and stuff like that is just a lot less likely. So I'm gonna say that she's okay, but I'm not gonna highly recommend that you put any effort into advancing her stars or ascensions. And that's my personal opinion. Obviously, all this is my personal opinion, but that's just how I feel about it. So Ember, I'm gonna put into the B range as well. Emily is going to be a C rank hero. Not much change. I don't think. I don't look at my old videos before I start these ones, so that way I can have like the most fresh, like non-biased opinion on it each time I make one of these. So I don't think there's a lot of change, but I don't really remember exactly where I put everybody last time. So I think that's for the best that I do it like that. Zul'Qad is absolutely one of the best heroes in the game, in one of the most like there's like 4 main teams people are using right now. The 2 best ones do not use him, but one of the top 4 definitely best teams definitely uses him in it. So he's definitely still up there. Furno is gotten really good with dragons. I mean, he's solid. Furno used to be pretty garbage, but with Nivius and Alrakis, like it could be argued that he's a pretty solid hero now. He's definitely better than any of these down here, as long as he's on a dragon team. But I don't think he's quite good enough to be considered necessarily a full-on A rank. Moving on, we've got Theron going to be coming in at C, most likely. Creel, or not Creel. What's this guy's name? Krex. Krex is going to be a solid F right now. Gortusk has been pretty solid. I've seen some really good builds with him. I would put him in either B or B+. Right now, I'm going to put him in B+. He's very tanky, has a really great skill set. He's just not really on any like meta teams. So is he usable? Absolutely. But there's usually better teams out there, especially if you're just trying to go super sweaty and just run the best teams. You're not going to end up using him. But if you like to be creative, or if you don't necessarily have all the heroes readily available to you, then he might be a decent choice. Grognog is awful, but we'll put him in D. I'd say Grondor is definitely very important right now. He's just not like an insanely good hero on his own. Like, I'd put him in an A or A+, but he's always on teams with S heroes. Like, he is very, like, there's attack teams with him. He's not really used that much on defense right now, if at all, but on offense, he really helps with mitigating those follow-up attacks from Niveus and Alrakis, and it also helps against defenses that have like Miko on them and so on. So definitely a really important, very good hero. Hagrim is actually pretty awesome right now. He's definitely, I'd say, better than the B and B+ heroes right now. He does need to be on a team with Falcon, who's also phenomenal right now. Falcon I'd put into an A+. There's a lot of people that are using him a lot right now with Zen, for example. So like, people have really been liking him, but I can't put him into S as far as the current meta. I think his kit makes him an S rank hero overall. If we talk about like PvE, PvP, and at lower levels, I'm sure he's absolutely ungodly. But like right now, top level, top PvP, he's not necessarily up to what these guys up here are doing, if that makes sense. So Hansuke is pretty solid. I'd put him in B+. You do want to have his Long John Suke skin, which is the only way that I'd put him into B+. Otherwise, he's probably a C rank without that. And in case you're not aware, that skin just makes it so that he can't be frozen, which is very, very important, because that's one of the main ways to CC him. And if he can't be frozen, then he has a lot more chance to do like follow-up attacks or parry attacks and so on. Hopper's pretty decent right now. Oh, my head was itchy. Okay. Anyways, so Hopper's pretty decent right now. Hopper's not like a great hero, doesn't really have that great of a kit, doesn't do very much damage, but can be very, very tanky and does help mitigate against Niveus teams, which is pretty important because Niveus is being used a lot right now. Unfortunately for Hopper, Archon does it a lot better, but that said, that doesn't mean that the little bunny is not useful, and I have seen a lot of high tier players or high, ranked players incorporate Hopper into their teams in one way or another. So definitely not necessarily a hero to be overlooked at the moment, but still not necessarily that great. Ice Bloom is so close to being decent, but just isn't good. Maybe C. I'd probably put her in C actually, but she's just... The cool thing about her freeze is, to my knowledge, it doesn't miss. So like, her freeze is slightly better than like a normal freeze, I guess. But obviously Falcon doesn't miss, and he's one of the other main freezers. But aside from that, she dies too easy. Her Unbreakable Heart is completely useless at this point because of chaos damage and tainted runes. So unfortunately, I cannot put her much higher than this. Ice Pick is awful. We're going to put him in D. Definitely better than these F ranks, but just not that great. Ignis is awful. Nothing nice to say about Ignis. Ego Rock, I want to put in F. I'll put him in D just because, like, he's so neutered that, like, it's for him to even be in D makes him F to me, but I'm going to put him in D. It's just very, very sad what they did to this hero. Indigo, same idea. Indigo would either be C or D. I'm going to put her in C. I do think Indigo's better than these heroes here, but she just kind of like doesn't have any place on any team in the meta right now. But if I was comparing side by side, just like one hero to one hero, I'd say Indigo's better than any of these heroes down here. Iris is a solid hero, just again has really no place, but Iris can dish out tons and tons and tons of damage. Iris can also be spec'd to be defense or health based instead of attack if you want her to just stay alive. She also has Hive Mind, which if you have the correct rune setup, you can make it so that you start the game with Hive Mind, which is pretty much the only way to run Iris effectively. Otherwise, she's just kind of like okay. I'd say she could be like specced out, and when I say specced out, I mean like ruined in a way that makes her a B+ hero and makes her a little bit better, I would say, than these heroes here. But for the most part, the fact that you have to have the correct runes for it, and the fact that, like, aside from giving Hive Mind, she really doesn't do much, I'd say I'd put her more in as a solid B instead of a B+. Jabber is always an S rank hero. Gibber is always an F rank hero unless they make some major changes in the future. Jinlei is always an S rank hero, sorta. So Jinlei, I don't think is as good as he used to be, personally. I do think he's amazing, and again, forces you to have, you know, some type of silence mitigation, but too many heroes are silence immune, or they have foresight runes to make him quite as dominant as he used to be. The good thing about him still, though, is that he does follow-up attacks from Dagon. And Dagon is so used right now that if you have Dagon and Jinlei on a team, his follow-up, like, little lightning attacks that he does with his epic weapon can wipe a team almost. So definitely not. It's definitely could be argued that he's still S rank. I'm gonna put him in A+ for now, but definitely he's like an S-. I just don't think he's as good as the heroes up here. I do think he's a little bit better than Valken and Grondor, though, personally. So we'll leave him like this for now. Monkey Boy is Julius. He's gonna be a D. He's borderline F, honestly, but we'll put him in D. I think he's better than these other heroes that are in F. Shrek is definitely going to be around the B area. He's better than all these C's and D's and F's, but not necessarily better than a lot of the B's here or any of the B. I think all these B+ are better than he is. Kai, unfortunately, is basically a C. I wish he was better. He's also another one that's really close to being usable. I think if he got an awesome epic weapon that added to his kit and wasn't just like an attack, but like gave him something like some type of new passive or something like that, I think he could be usable again in some way or another. He can be spec'd to be really tanky or really high damage output, so he definitely could see play if he just gets some minor changes. Lily's knockoff is going to be a B for me. I have personally tried her out a zillion times on stream, off stream, tried to make her work well consistently, and unfortunately I just can't figure out a way to be happy with her moveset and build. Maybe I'm doing something wrong with her, but I definitely can't put her any higher than B. I think she is solidly better than these C's and D's, but definitely not any better than that. Cobal is pretty awful, unfortunately. Especially, again, we're talking PvP here, high rank, high level PvP. He's just not very usable at all. Koros, unfortunately, is still at D. He could be argued to be C because he has really high damage output. I'll put him in C just because I do think he's better than these D's and F's, but only because of his extremely high attack stat potential. But your attack stat doesn't really mean anything if A, you can't get your attack off, and B, if everybody has so much damage reduction that you're like not doing much. Like, in order for a hero to be really good right now, they need extra things other than just high damage. They need cool abilities, they need abilities that gives buffs or debuffs to the enemy team, and they need abilities that are basically ignoring armor or damage reduction and stuff like that, none of which he has, unfortunately. And his family is just not very good. The monsters are they're just not in a good place right now. Kozar is, I can't really put him any higher than D, unfortunately. He does a decent amount of damage, but he'll never get to it. He'll die before he ever gets to do any damage. He doesn't have any good passives. He doesn't pair well with anybody. He's just kind of, but I do think he's better than Creel. Leo is a solid hero still. I'd put him in B. You could say he's a B+. I'll put him in B+, but there's definitely, there could definitely be a debate to be had between B and B+ here. Lily with her Grove Guardian skin, yeah, Grove Guardian or Oak form. Anyways, that skin that gives her the oak form, that if you have that, I do think she's a solid A hero. I do think she's better than these B pluses. Furno's one that I could probably argue to be A, honestly, at this point, which is weird because I don't think I've ever placed Furno this high, and I don't think many people in their head think of him being that good. But I've run into some really good Furno defenses lately in high level PvP, and Furno is, if Agnon wouldn't have come out with his skin, I probably might still be using Furno, like, on a team with Lorelei, Alrakis, Niveus, and Furno. Like, it's still a decent team. It's not, I would say, one of the top 4, top 5 best meta offense teams, but it's pretty solid, and it has a lot to do with him and what he brings to the team, and the fact that he has a res and all of that. I do think he's probably better than these B plus heroes here, so I'll put him in A for now. Let me know if you hate me in the comments for doing that, but I'm always expecting a certain amount of people in the comments to be super angry with what my decisions are on my opinion tier list. But moving on, Lumen is not that good. I don't care what you guys say. People keep trying to convince me Lumen is decent, and I do not see it. I can't figure out how to make Lumen not suck. So my opinion, Lumen's awful. If you can make it work, go for it. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. If you can make it work, go for it. All the power to you. Unfortunately, Barky Boy is going to be a D. Barky Girl. Sorry, she's a girl. Lupina's a girl. She's pretty awful. I would even almost put her in F. I'm going to put her in F, actually, for now. Especially considering she has an epic and is still just awful. Minglejaw is pretty much an F, but I do think he's better than these fools down here, so we'll put him over in D. Look, like, okay, so here's the thing with Lupina. Let's go back to this. I know somebody's gonna be mad, but like with Lupina, you can spec her out to be very high attack with the right runes, and she can do okay attack, but her first move is basically useless right now at high level against the most meta, against the guys you see up here. Like, her first special does nothing. Her other specials are just very normal run-of-the-mill attacks that, again, don't really do much, right? Unfortunately, damaging attacks just, like, don't really cut it right now. So if you get her high enough attack and then you have enablers on her to make her do her epic attack, she could do okay damage, but really, like, not really at the same time. Odds are she'll never get the attack off. Odds are her attack is not going to make it through any damage reduction or shields or passives that are blocking damage. So honestly, she's like, no, there's really nothing she can really do. I think Malice is a very solid A rank hero right now. She is on a team, obviously, with Zul'Kod, and is in one of the best teams in the game. So I would definitely put her in A rank and definitely put her above these other B plus heroes here. Not Minglejaw. What is your name? What is your name? Oh, what is his name? Well, I can't remember his name, so from now on, we're just going to call him Chompy. Chompy Boy here is not very good. He's definitely better than these Ds, definitely better than these Fs, but I would say not better than these Bs. He can be ruined and spec'd to be halfway usable, I'll say, like. So I'd say maybe he's probably better than the vast majority of these Cs, probably better than all of the Cs, but not much. And I think he's probably the worst in this B section here, which is saying a lot. I'm putting him worse than Drac, right? But I do think that, like, he's not great. But I think if you're using him just to try and, like, show off and, like, try and be creative. And I mean, if you lose, you kind of deserve it, right? So Masuda Kira, I'd say, is solidly a C. I don't think he's better than Black Diamond, even though they seem very similar and like they had a kind of like a parallel. I just don't think that he's as good as her because he doesn't have as high of damage potential as her. Since his nerf, he just does way less damage, and nobody really uses undeads at all right now, so, like, none of that really matters, so he's kind of useless right now. Miko Marvelous is definitely, I'd say, an A+. You could say he's an S. I could see the argument, and I know that I am going to catch heavy flack for this, but I don't think he's better than any of the people that are up here in S rank. And I think he's on par with these A+ and definitely better than these A's. So I think A+ is the perfect spot for him. He's been used on defense a lot. It's just his first move can miss too easily. So if you have any evasion runes, which everybody has, he's way too easy to deal with, basically. Like, you don't have much risk going against a Miko team if you know what you're doing and you have the right team for it. So if you have a team with evasion runes, if you have a team with Grondor on it, these are all teams that could very easily wipe out a Miko with little to no effort. Moving on, Meyer is awful, but better than these Fs. Oh wait, no. We've decided. Have we decided that Meyer's an S rank? Is this the new meme now? Are we doing this? I mean, I don't know. Meyer's awful, guys. Like we know Meyer's awful, right? You guys watching this know that he's okay. So Nimriel is awful. F rank, horrible. Nitpick is pretty awful, but I'd say probably better than these Fs somehow. I feel like somebody gave me shit about putting Nimriel here, like last one of these I did, and I'm like, really? Like, no. Niveus is one of the best heroes in the game for sure. S rank. She reses her teammates. She's just like amazing. She's on like the best defense teams right now. All the defenses use her. She's very hip. She's very hot. Is it a she? I think it's a he. He's very hot right now. Nub, more like suck. Oh no, that sounds awful. Overlord Executum is going to be an F right now. Femus is going to be an F right now. Phenolthoxine is going to be an F right now. Pygneus is going to be an F right now. Pontifex is going to be a solidly B+ hero. He is better than all these Bs here in my opinion, but definitely not good enough to be any higher, and probably only middle of the pack in these B+. He might even be the worst B+ in here. Again, keep in mind, we're talking about PvP here. High level PvP, he's just not very used, doesn't really have a place right now. Maybe that'll change in the future, but as of right now, not that great. Rayla's pretty decent. I'd say with the right team, she could be argued to be an A rank hero. I don't think she's as bad as a lot of people tried to make it seem when she got the nerf, especially with some of the newer heroes that are out. She can have decent teams made around her. And she can still make those really high damage output defenses. Offense, she's really kind of lackluster. I'm going to go ahead and put her in B+, but I can definitely see an argument for A, and I might even agree with that argument if a good enough one can be made. So if you want to tell me why you think Rayla is A instead of B+, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Rocky Shiitake is going to be a D for me. And for everybody else, Rogar is going to be an F. I'll put Rogar in D, actually. Rogar is not good, but he's definitely better than these guys down here, especially because a lot of people have Valken and Dagon right now, and even though I would never advise putting Rogar on a team with them, if you're going to use Rogar on a team with them, then they are definitely going to be better than these guys down here. Whereas these guys down here, you could throw them on any team, and they're still going to be completely awful, right? Selwyn is still decent. He still has a place if you feel like being cheeky and using his ice form to, like, with a taunt rune or whatever. Like, he's okay. The problem is he's a one-trick pony. He has his ice form, which allows him to tank just about any damage except chaos damage, and like you can have him designed, spec'd as I say, to every turn use his epic attack and go back into ice form. So he's constantly in ice form, kind of like the tactic that we use with Agnon, but the difference is Agnon can dish out a ton of damage, whereas Selwyn it hits like a wet paper bag, right? He really cannot do anything. So he can distract, and that's about it. And with how prevalent chaos damage is right now, it doesn't help you with much. Serenity is definitely an S+ hero, S++ hero. Serenity's still super, super good. Again, mostly because of the fact that she makes other good heroes better and super OP and just has really good passives. Definitely still not been dethroned as one of the best heroes in the game. Highly advise getting her. Once the epic becomes free for everybody to grind out, then you will be able to get those a further buff with her, which I believe, if I remember correctly, adds an extra 15% chaos reduction. So that'll be great. Or 15 or 20%. So that'll be great once we get that. But again, even without that, she's still extremely solid. Shade is going to be a solidly C rank hero. It's just how it is, guys. I know a lot of you guys are using him at lower levels and are like, no, Shade's really, really good. Unfortunately, his usefulness, once you get to a certain group of PvP and that high like 80 level 80 area, like his usefulness goes like this, like sharp drop off to the point where he's basically not usable at all anymore. That's if you want to know how it is at the top levels, that's just how it is. Shadowblade is not very good. I'd probably put him in C. He's actually, in my opinion, better than Masuda Kira, and he could be argued to be like a B rank hero if you have him on a team with Serenity. Like, he's okay. I don't personally think he's as good as these B ranks, so I'm gonna put him in C. In fact, I might even put Black Diamond in C as well, even though I think if I had a C+, that she would be in the C+ range. But for now, I'm just going to put them all into C right here, because they're all so close to being, like, they're so close in usefulness to each other. The best out of this group down here probably being Shade and Black Diamond out of the group that's in C here. But I don't think it's fair to put them in this group with these B rank heroes that are just honestly just better. Selwyn, again, looking at Selwyn actually kind of makes me angry, and I might want to throw him into C, but I'm just going to leave him there for now, because I know some people are out there still using him. Astrid. Astrid is part of probably the number 1 or number 2 best PvP team right now out there, and I think she's great and she's important for that team, but she herself is just not very good as a standalone. I'll put it to you this way. If you have your team with her on the team that she's on, which we're going to go over in a different video, if everybody dies and she's all that's left, you're going to lose. She has no way of like winning a match for you. She does not have high enough damage output, and the build that most people run her is all defense. So, I mean, there's not really, if you do an all offense build to see if she could maybe do some more damage, well, then then it defeats the purpose of having her on that specific team that we're referring to. So there's no point in doing it. So my opinion, she can be an A rank hero. I personally don't think that she's better than A rank. I think the team that she's on carries her, and that she makes those characters a little bit better, but on her own is pretty lackluster, unfortunately. So Sifu, I'm wondering how people are going to take that. Sifu, I'd say, is probably better than all these D's and F's, but definitely not any better than any of the rest of the C's, and definitely not better than any of these B's. Solaris is pretty okay right now. Solaris is alright. Definitely been seeing her a lot more. I'd say probably more so in the B+ range than the A range. Again, personally, that's how I feel about that, but I think with the right team and build, she's halfway usable, but her epic really didn't do much to help her usefulness, like, at all. If you want, you can go check out that video that I uploaded of her with a max epic. It just, I didn't see enough. I will say that, like, when it becomes more readily available to everybody and we try it out, we might see like a resurgence of people using her. But the people that I know that have gotten her epic, that have been using it, have all pretty much just said, she's just collecting dust again, unfortunately. But not bad. Not a bad hero. Spitfires is still pretty awful. I'd say C is an okay place to put him. Probably like C+. I'll put him up here. But again, only on a dragon team. And the problem with him, as opposed to like Furno, for example, is that he doesn't really give a team buff. All of his stuff is just for himself. He doesn't help dragons or anybody. He just happens to work okay on a dragon team. So C rank it is. Squinch is awful. Stonefish is awful, but probably a little tiny bit better than these other F rank heroes. And the Ds are pretty awful too, man, up here. Just so that we're clear on that. D is not very good at all. But that said, you know, they're definitely better than these guys. I'll put Meyer in D, actually, now that I'm looking at this. Sybil is amazing right now. Super, super high damage output. Can't be silenced. Can't miss his first attack. Adds extra chaos damage. Is just like a absolute beast right now. I'd say defense-wise, he's... so let me rephrase this. He is very good on defense teams. He's not very good to take into attack, in my opinion. He's not really in any of the major, like, top PvP attack teams. But, like, I would say 80% of all defenses I see right now use him. So still definitely extremely good. In my opinion, a better Miko. And definitely somebody that you should work on getting started up. Let's see here. Tana Boy is going to go into F. Our big meaty broiler is going to go into C. I can't justify putting him any higher, really, honestly, unfortunately. I want to, but it's just not very good still, unfortunately. So again, like, if you're playing at lower levels and you're wondering why I'm putting him here and you're like, dude, like the furnace is sick, he barely takes any damage and yada yada, I get it. But again, it's one of those things where he's useful, and then you hit a certain level and a certain PvP tier, what are those called? Whatever level, legend, hero, whatever. So Warlord, once you get to a certain area, he just drops off completely, becomes completely useless. Like, he will get completely annihilated by any of the top teams right now, for sure. Bat Boy, D. Demon Boy, D. Snaky Chick. By the way, I know their names. Viperia is C. Better than Cobressa, but not good enough to be in the B rank up here. Sir William is awful. Willow is awful. Yanluo is going to be a B. Yasmin, D. Just doesn't heal very much at all. Has horrible healing numbers. Is a little bit tanky, I guess. Can cleanse, which is nice. Better than these ones that are in F, but just still not good. Yokozuna is pretty awful, but I think better than these Fs. I'd say our boy Yorick is definitely probably an F. Unfortunately, he has my favorite skin in the entire game, but he's just awful, so he's going to be an F for now. Zen has been used a lot lately. We're going to put him into B. You just need a very specific build to make him work, which is the part that's hard with him. And because of that, I can't put him any higher than B. He's very, like, case by case. Again, if you're trying to just be creative and use a fun little team, then he's usable. But aside from that, he's like just kind of just floating there right now. What's her name again? Blue Snake. So Blue Snake is going to be probably still like a B+ or a B. Definitely not super good. But has decent moves. Like, I've championed her in the past, but she's definitely dropped off since, like, you know, since the last two tier lists a little bit here, but definitely better than these C rank heroes here. Lord Zom in high level PvP is no better than a B. I have seen him used sometimes on defense. And I actually think that the reason I've been seeing him used a little bit is because how much crap I've been talking on him being awful, and I think people are just trying to like, you know, some people are trying to be like, well, let's see if we can make him useful, but like, it's really not working. He's just still not very good. I'd actually probably more so put him in C, but looking at the heroes that are in C, I'd say he's better than these C rank heroes, right? But I'd say he's probably the worst person in this B list here. I'd say like he's a B minus definitely, or a C plus for sure. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Anyways, so hopefully that appeases those of you that get super angry every time that I don't give him a high ranking, because he's not good in high rank PvP. Zerk is awful, unfortunately. Lorelei is definitely one of the best heroes in the game, has amazing passives, can be spec to do attacks somehow that does insane amounts of damage, can be spec to be unkillable tank that heals every round, makes Niveus, makes Agnon, makes Alrakis better. Like, Lorelei is definitely an amazing hero right now. Super, super good. Definitely work on getting her. She will help so many of your teams out. 100% make sure that you get her. And last but not least, well, last and kind of least. Oh, did I? You know, I didn't realize that some of this was getting cut off as I was putting heroes up. So that's my bad. I had no clue, and I probably should have been paying more attention. But here's the bottom of the here's the bottom of the list. Unfortunately, I guess I didn't really scroll down much at all, did I? And it was probably like this the entire time, so we probably didn't see much of F down there. But anyways, my goof, I apologize for that. And I wonder why I feel like that didn't happen in the past, or maybe I was just more conscious about it. I probably should have been watching my monitor showing what my preview was. I very much apologize for that. But anyways, here's our list so far. The Fs and the Ds down here. I think at least you saw the D. So if I put somebody into F, you saw who it was. You just didn't see me place probably a lot of these people into F. So here it is here. Our last hero, the Maid of Honor, is Crucible. And look, I considered possibly not even putting Crucible in the list this time, only because like he's not good. I think everybody can agree that he is definitely not good. But to be fair, we have only tried him with low stars. And because of how awful he was at low stars, I haven't tried him now that I have him like 4. I think I have him 4 stars. And I haven't really given him another shot to see if he's gotten any better. So I guess if you want to play devil's advocate, you could say that he just hasn't been given enough chance yet, which is maybe a valid concern. But I think that just based on his kit and what he does, he's just not good. So I'm going to put him right now at like D, based on what I think he's going to be. At best, I think he'll be a C once I get him up to 5 or 6 stars, like at absolute best. But yeah, they've really dropped the ball on him, and I hope that maybe they do a slight tweak to him, to his kit, make him maybe a little bit better. But anyways, this is our list, and let me know what you guys think about this list. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I am going to be doing a bunch of videos this week to try and help out with this upcoming Grand Guild tourney, but also just to say thank you guys for supporting me over the last, how long have I had this channel now? 4 years, 4 or 5 years. I think 4 years. So over the last 4 years, you guys have been really awesome. You know, I went from uploading a bunch of videos to streaming a lot on Twitch, and then I left from making content for about a year. I was making Dungeon Boss content for about like a year and a half. Came back late last year, and you guys have been amazing. I'm gaining right now, you know, anywhere from 100 to 200 new subscribers a month, which is amazing. We're getting lots of great feedback on these videos. We're having really fun streams. You guys are joining in on the streams regardless of like whether I'm playing Dungeon Boss or not. So like, again, I really appreciate it, and I do still stream dungeon boss a lot. Okay, so those of you that are here only for the dungeon boss and not for anything else, that's totally fine. Just make sure again that you're turning on those notifications so that you will see when I go live. When this PvP tourney starts, I'll probably be doing boatloads of PvP, so definitely you do not want to miss out on that. Anyways, that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will talk to you guys soon. By the way, Jabber is actually an F, so if you're watching this far, now you know.